What a beautiful day we are having!
Once upon a time, in the peaceful kingdom of Rosehaven, there lived a young girl named Maya. She was known throughout the village for being kind, hardworking, and respectful, but no one ever spoke about her kindness. Instead, they only spoke about her size. "She's too fat," the villagers would whisper whenever she walked through the marketplace. "No one will ever marry her," others would say with laughter. Even the young women in the village mocked her whenever she passed by. Although their words pierced her heart, Maya never answered with anger. She simply smiled and continued helping anyone who needed her. Every morning, she carried water for the elderly, shared bread with hungry children, and helped her widowed mother sell vegetables in the market. Yet, no matter how much good she did, people still judged her by her appearance. One sunny afternoon, a royal messenger rode into the village on a magnificent white horse. Hear ye, he announced. "By the order of His Majesty the King, a grand celebration will be held at the royal palace in 7 days. Every family in the kingdom is invited to attend." The villagers cheered with excitement. "This is our chance to meet the royal family. The prince will surely choose the most beautiful maiden in the kingdom." The young women rushed home to prepare their finest dresses. As Maya quietly picked up the unsold vegetables from her mother's stall, she overheard a group of girls laughing. "Don't bother going to the celebration, Maya. You'll only embarrass yourself. The prince wouldn't even look at you." The girls burst into laughter as they walked away. Maya looked toward the distant royal palace shining on the hill. She took a deep breath, smiled gently, and whispered, "Beauty may open a door, but kindness keeps it open." Little did she know, the grand celebration was about to change many hearts, not because of beauty, but because of character. The days passed quickly, and the entire kingdom of Rosehaven buzzed with excitement as everyone prepared for the grand royal celebration. Throughout the village, young women admired themselves in polished mirrors, showing off expensive gowns stitched with silk, pearls, and shimmering thread. Meanwhile, Maya and her mother had no riches to spend. One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Maya quietly folded her old dress and placed it on the table. "I suppose this will do," she said with a gentle smile. Her mother looked at the worn fabric and felt a pang in her heart. After Maya had gone to sleep, her mother gathered every small piece of cloth she had saved over the years. By the light of a single candle, she carefully stitched them together, working through the night with love in every thread. As dawn broke, she held up the finished gown. Though it was simple, it was elegant, with soft green fabric and delicate embroidery along the sleeves. When Maya saw it, her eyes filled with tears. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "I've never owned anything so lovely." Her mother smiled and gently held her hands. "My daughter, clothes do not make a person valuable, but every stitch in this dress carries a mother's love. Wear it with confidence." At that very moment, outside their little home, a few village girls happened to pass by. They peeked through the window and began to laugh. "Look at that cheap dress. It doesn't matter what she wears. She'll still be the fat girl everyone laughs at." Maya heard every word. For a moment, her smile faded. Then she gently lifted the dress, held it close to her heart, and said, "As long as I wear kindness with it, I have nothing to be ashamed of." The morning of the grand royal celebration finally arrived. The kingdom of Rosehaven sparkled with joy. Colourful banners fluttered from every rooftop. Musicians filled the streets with cheerful melodies, and families dressed in their finest clothes as they made their way to the magnificent royal palace. Maya took a deep breath as she stood outside her home, wearing the beautiful dress her mother had lovingly sewn. It wasn't the richest gown in the kingdom, but she wore it with quiet confidence. "You look beautiful," her mother said with a warm smile. Together, they began the journey to the palace. When they arrived, the palace courtyard was filled with noble families and elegant young women. The grand fountain shimmered in the sunlight, and the marble floors reflected the beauty of the celebration. As Maya stepped through the palace gates, whispers spread through the crowd. She actually came. How embarrassing. Does she really think she belongs here? Several girls covered their mouths as they laughed, making sure Maya could hear every cruel word. She lowered her eyes for a moment, but remembered her mother's advice. Instead of walking away, she lifted her head and continued forward with grace. Inside the palace, Prince Adrian stood on a grand balcony, greeting the guests. From above, he noticed the crowd laughing at someone. Curious, he watched quietly. He couldn't hear what they were saying, but he could see one thing clearly. While everyone else was laughing, one young woman chose kindness over anger. The prince frowned thoughtfully. "Who is she?" he whispered to himself. For the very first time, Maya had caught the attention of someone who saw beyond appearances. The grand celebration continued with music, dancing, and laughter. Guests filled the palace gardens, hoping to impress the royal family with their beauty and elegant manners. After everyone had gathered, King Edmund rose from his throne. The joyful chatter faded into silence. "My dear people," the king announced, "today is not a celebration of beauty alone. I wish to discover the true character of those who live in my kingdom." The crowd exchanged puzzled glances. The king continued, "Before sunset, each guest will receive one golden coin. You may spend it however you choose. At the end of the day, you will return and tell me what you did with it." The guests nodded eagerly as servants handed a single gold coin to every person. The young women smiled with excitement. "I'll buy the finest perfume," one said. "I'm buying jewels," another replied. Isabella admired her coin and grinned. "This challenge will be easy." Maya looked at the coin in her hand. It was more money than she had ever held before. As she walked through the marketplace outside the palace walls, she noticed an old baker sitting beside his empty stall. His shelves were bare, and worry filled his face. "My oven broke this morning," he sighed softly. "Without flour, I cannot bake bread for the village tomorrow." Maya looked down at her golden coin. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. Without hesitation, she placed the coin into the baker's trembling hands. "I hope this helps," she said with a gentle smile. The old baker's eyes filled with grateful tears. "May your kindness always be rewarded," he whispered. Maya smiled and quietly returned to the palace with empty hands, but a heart full of peace. She had no idea that someone had witnessed her act of kindness from a palace window. As the sun began to set, the palace bell rang, calling every guest back to the grand hall. The king sat upon his throne, while Prince Adrian stood quietly beside him, observing the crowd. One by one, the guests stepped forward. "I bought this beautiful necklace," one young woman said proudly. "I spent mine on the finest perfume in the kingdom," another boasted. Isabella smiled as she displayed a sparkling bracelet. "I chose something worthy of a future queen." The crowd applauded. Then Maya's name was called. She slowly walked to the center of the hall. The girls who had mocked her exchanged amused glances. "She probably lost her coin," one whispered. The king looked at Maya kindly. "My child, what did you buy with your golden coin?" Maya lowered her eyes respectfully. "I didn't buy anything for myself, Your Majesty." A murmur spread through the hall. She continued, "I met an old baker whose oven had broken. He had no flour and feared the village would go hungry tomorrow. So, I gave him my coin." The hall fell silent. Some people looked surprised. Others lowered their heads in shame. Before anyone could speak, Prince Adrian stepped forward. "What Maya says is true," he said. "I saw everything from the palace window." The entire hall turned toward the prince. "I watched many people spend their coins on themselves," he continued. "But only one person thought of someone else's needs before her own." The king smiled proudly. "Today," he said, "the greatest treasure brought into this palace was not gold, jewels, or expensive clothing." He looked directly at Maya. It was a compassionate heart. For the first time in her life, the people who had laughed at Maya had nothing to say. The hall echoed with silence. The grand hall remained silent after the king's words. For the first time, the guests were not thinking about jewels, gowns, or appearances. They were thinking about their choices. The king slowly rose from his throne. "Let it be known across the kingdom of Rosehaven," he declared, "that wealth can be spent in a day, beauty can fade in time, but kindness leaves a legacy that never disappears." A warm light seemed to fill the hall as his words settled in every heart. Then Prince Adrian stepped forward. He looked directly at Maya. "Today you showed this kingdom something far greater than tradition or appearance," he said. "You showed us what a good heart looks like in action." A respectful silence followed. The king raised his hand once more. "Maya," he said gently, "step forward." She did so with quiet grace. Every eye in the hall watched her, not with mockery this time, but with attention. The king removed a small golden emblem from his robe. It was not a crown, not a title of royalty, but a symbol of honor within the kingdom. He placed it carefully into Maya's hands. "This is the crown of kindness," he said. "It is not given to those with the finest looks or the richest families. It is given to those who prove that their heart is worthy of respect." Maya looked down at it, overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Then do not say anything," the queen said softly with a kind smile. "Just continue being who you are." For the first time, Maya did not feel small in a world that once made her feel invisible. She felt seen, not for her appearance, but for her heart. In that moment, something changed in the entire kingdom. Whispers of judgment faded, laughter turned into reflection, and slowly, understanding began to grow where cruelty once lived. Isabella stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Maya, I was wrong about you," she said. "I thought beauty made someone valuable, but I see now, I was mistaken." Maya looked at her quietly. Then she smiled. "Then we both learned something," she replied gently, "that people can change." Isabella lowered her head, but this time not in pride, only in humility. The king nodded with approval. "Let this day be remembered," he said, as the day Rosehaven chose kindness over judgment. As the sun set beyond the palace towers, golden light poured across the kingdom. And Maya, the girl once mocked and rejected, stood not as someone defined by others, but as someone who had shown an entire kingdom what true beauty really means. And so their story became a lesson told for generations. Kindness is the rarest and most powerful beauty of all.